Great catching with my next guest, Mitch Raposo. He's going to be fighting this Saturday, taking on Sumudaerji, UFC 314 in Miami. We're live in the hotel room. Mitch, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself, James?
I'm doing great. I'm not in Miami right now. I wish I was, actually. I'd love to watch this card, but I'm here in cold Vancouver. But I appreciate you taking some time, man, especially during fight week. Just how excited are you to get back in there? I know it's been a bit since you last fought. You getting those, those emotions, that excitement level ramping up as we're getting closer to the fight?
Oh, for sure, man. It's been a great camp. I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to really just show more. Show the things I've improved on, and show some stuff that I didn't get to show in the last one. And just correct the mistakes and go out there have some fun, man. That's it.
Why haven't we seen you in so long? Has it been injuries? What's been keeping you out for a while?
I I definitely had like a pretty like serious injury after the Lima fight. What I'm saying? I won't really get into it too much, but it was kind of I was supposed to. I could have came back, I think, in the fall, but I wasn't ready. Like as far as the injury goes, I'll just say I had a fracture like in the fight, so I kind of just need some time off to heal. And then they came with this card, which I would love to fight sooner, but I wasn't ready, so I had to kind of like take my time, heal up, and then they came with this opportunity, but which is like this is just it's a dream opportunity. You know what I mean? So it couldn't be better, honestly. Everything works out for a reason.
Yeah, how tough was that decision? Because I know you just started your UFC career. I know it's been a long road to get here, and you had a fight that was ended up in a split decision. I'm sure you wanted to get back in there as soon as you can, but you're also like, look, I can't go in here and not be 100%. I can't go potentially 0-2 to start my UFC career. So how difficult of a decision was that to just say, hey, listen, it's got to be when I'm healthy.
It was definitely a very big decision, and I feel like I learned, a lot from this time off away from the cage, and I just learned so much from that debut. I feel like that's like the biggest thing. I've had my like hiccups before in the past, but I feel like the Lima fight really, that was I just learned so much from that fight, and especially going with fight a guy last stud like Lima and stuff, and like certain things like short notice and all this different stuff. I feel like I just learned a lot, and I definitely learned that I belong here, and I'm one of the best in the world, and I feel like I showed that, but I feel like I have so much more to show, especially on a full camp.
And we even talked about the fact this card's completely stacked. Like that's got to be cool to have your return fight on, the same card as Volk and Lopez. You got Chandler and Patty. Like you getting a little starstruck being there too, because there's some big names on this card, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely try to now. It's just kind of these guys are more like my peers,
Yeah.
Like I ran into Volk in the hotel lobby, and that was awesome, obviously because he was my coach
Yeah.
in 2021 on the show, and he was just always so good to me, and I learned so much from him. So seeing him and stuff was definitely like I was really like happy to see him. But everybody else, I ran into Michael Chandler, I ran into these guys, and obviously they're people I've looked up to my whole like childhood coming up and stuff, but. I kind of see it now as like these guys are like people I work with, and it's just like my peers.
Yep.
It's not really like I try not to look too deep into it anymore.
Let's talk about Asuma Jerry, 16-7 record. Stylistically, how are you looking at this one? How do you feel like you match up against him?
I think it's a great fight. I think it's a great matchup for me. I think some of the stuff that I learned from the Lima fight is going to directly impact this fight. And I feel like they gave me just, he's definitely tough. He's a rangy guy, but he definitely has some holes in his game, and guys have exploited that. And I feel like I'm just a little bit different, more well rounded, I'm more athletic, I'm faster, and I feel like I could take the fight anywhere and just put my foot on the gas and don't let up 15 minutes.
I know since your last fight and just kind of following you on Instagram, I know there's been a lot of cross training and everything. Take me through how you structured this camp leading into the fight, because I know you like getting a bit of variety in there when it comes to training partners and camps and all that. So, what did camp look like going into this?
Yeah, for this one, man, I kind of let Tyson, just take charge. I did my first half of the camp back home, and he really set like a really good foundation of the things I needed to do, we needed to focus on for this fight, and as far as a great game plan. And then I finished the camp into Vegas with Jimmy Gifford, Eric Nixick at
Oh,
Extreme,
nice.
just getting those bodies, getting in with those guys, that those level of guys. That's like the biggest thing. Everybody. There's so many bodies there. People are coming in and out of the gym, in and out through Vegas, and I feel like I did it right this time. I kind of have put Tyson in charge of directing everything, and then I have Jimmy Gifford for my striking, and then Eric Nixick, of course. One of the best minds in MMA. And I just feel like I put things together right this camp, and I just feel like I just got to listen to these guys, and I'm gonna get my hand raised.
What about training partners? Who are some of the main guys at both camps that you get to work with to give people an idea?
Yo, back home, Joe Poirier coming up. He gave me a really good look. Chris Patino, of course, everybody knows him. You know what I mean? Toughest guy in the game. He gave me a really good look. And then out in Vegas, Patchy Mix, Mo Miller.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Uh, oh yeah, Mo. He's a beast. He gave me a really good look for this camp. Yeah, Patchy Mix, Kobe Fair. I even got some working with a Rosa. We're all on this card together. So it's just who's who. You know what I mean? Just getting in that work, improving, and just show out on Saturday.
And I got to ask, just because we saw him on Spectation Sports on the last Cage Titans card, or two Cage Titan cards before. Joe Poirier, how good is he? How soon will we see him in the UFC?
He's very good, man, and he's got like a really difficult frame. Actually, if you look at Sumudaerji, he's 5'9". They're like the same exact size, same reach. Yeah, no, Joe's a beast, man. He's got to keep doing what he's doing, keep putting guys away, and his time will definitely come.
Um, so we got Tyson there. Who else will be? I think you said Jimmy Gifford. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
It'll be Tyson, Jimmy Gifford, and Eric Nixick. I'm
Nice.
still with my home team back home, Regiment Training Center.
Mhm.
I just had to switch some stuff up this camp. And we actually have Jorgen fighting down in Slovenia the same
Oh,
day,
cool.
and yeah, just the way I structured this camp and stuff. And I'm definitely going to be spending some time in Vegas in the future, just splitting camps and stuff. I like to do that. I don't really have any much responsibilities back home besides getting better at fighting. So I feel like just doing the things that I need to do to structure these camps the way it fits me best.
How's this fight playing out on Saturday? How do you see it unfolding?
Man, I just gotta be me, just little just pick up where I feel like the Lima fight I just started kind of late, and I was like I started a little slow. The week kind of like getting the fight on a week's notice kind of played into definitely my head. I didn't really know what kind of shape I was in for the fight, and that's something I'm not underestimating myself anymore. I know what I'm capable of. Never mind on a full camp. I just feel like I can give this guy different looks. I can fight with him on the feet, but then we obviously see where he has a pretty glaring hole in his game. And I just feel like it's not just about taking people down. It's the way I set it up. It's the way, I can mix it up. I can strike, I can wrestle, and just put my foot on the gas for 15 minutes. I think that's what's more important. I don't really think if we're on the feet or wrestling or grappling, I feel like I'm better than him everywhere. It's just more about, me putting my foot on the gas and not letting up.
We talked about a bit of a layoff coming into this one. It's the plan this year to keep active. What are some of your goals for this year, not looking past Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so focused on April 12th, like this Saturday, and just getting this done and winning. But that's definitely a big motivation for me is to be busy this year. Like I want to win this fight, and then as long as I'm healthy, tell the UFC, hey, Tyson will do his job. Tell them I'm ready to go, and hopefully they get me back in there by the end of the summer. Honestly, like I'm ready. Like I would love to fight 3 times this year.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. And last question has to do with your division. What do you think of Horiguchi being back? That's pretty big news to have him back in the fold.
Yeah, no, that's huge, man. Hiraguchi's a stud. I've been watching him for a long time, and shows like even just they're injecting more juice into this division. Flyweight. I feel like you remember back in like 2019, we were talking about I was moving up to bantamweight because we didn't even know if there was gonna be a division,
That's right. Yeah.
and it's really cool that how like the flyweight division is probably one of the best divisions in the UFC right now.
Yeah.
And then now they're adding Hiraguchi. So it's just more motivation for us other guys in the weight class to step up our game. What I mean, that's really it.
There we go. Mitch, thanks for doing this, especially during fight week. I really appreciate it, man. We're looking forward to the fight. UFC 314, one of the biggest cards of the year. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, man, it's a huge shout out to my team, of course. New England Cartel, Regiment Training Center, Extreme Couture, Tyson Chartier, Jimmy Gifford, Eric Nixick, the work that these guys put in, especially to help me succeed. But it doesn't go unnoticed, and just makes me want to bring back the win so much more for the boys. Huge shout out to my sponsors, New Leaf, it's a dispensary back home for your CBD needs, anything you need, you go there, taxes included, which is a game changer. Fightco. That's one of my close sponsors, and just my family, friends, everybody tuning in. It's just another day to live my dream, and I'm excited for it.